Okay, we have finished part 1, project setup. Let's have a look at the next page. So as you can see, this is called 02playerscene.html. So we are going to, up here, define the player object. So we are creating a separate player scene so that we can test it separately even before we've created other parts of the game. So we're going to choose a root node for the player object. So it should reflect its functionality. Fair enough. Other node, and we're going to add area 2D. Alright, let's jump across to Godot. Whoops, that's not it. That's it. So, other node, and it's called area 2D. There it is. And let's go back and see what it says to do with it next. So, add a scene. Yep, we did that. We clicked on that. A little warning icon next to it. I think we've got that. Let's just have a quick look. Yep, there's our little warning icon. Now, we are going to change the name to player by double clicking on it. Well, that sounds pretty easy. So change that to player. You'll notice that I'm using the same case as the page says. And then we want to make sure that we don't accidentally move or resize any children. So I'm going to look for that icon there. So I click on player, there we go, and yep, so the children are not selectable. Fantastic. Okay, next thing we're going to do is scroll down. Yep, so we've got that. And it talks about having the sprite animation. Now, this bit I found a little bit confusing. So we're going to click on the player, and I think I'm actually going to right click on it, and I'm going to choose animated sprite 2D. There we go, so I'm right clicking there. Add child node, and I'm just going to type anime. No, I'm going to keep typing animated sprite 2D. There we go. And now I've got that child, which you can see has got the line up to its parent. Okay, so I've got that animated sprite in place. Let's have a look at what it says to do next. So the animated sprite will handle it. Please notice there's a warning symbol. Yep. It requires a sprite frames resource, which is a list of animations. So we find it under the animation tab in the inspector. Okay, and it's going to be empty, and I'm going to change that. Okay, so there is the animated sprite, and I click through here. Let's have a look. Transform, it's not in there. Animation, there it is. So under animation, it says sprite frames. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to have new sprite frames. And actually click that a second time to get it to open this window. So going back here, it actually says that I get the default. Yep, that's all good. So we're going to change that to walk, and then we're going to add up, and that's it, up and walk. Okay, so down here, I'm just going to double click on that and call it up, and then I'm going to hit enter to lock that in, plus for the second one, again double click and walk. Terrific. Okay, what's it say to do next? So I've done that. I've created walk and up. But it's in the art folder. So let's go have a look in the art folder. So I'll double click here. And there's a whole lot of art. So for player walk, I'm going to put in 1 first. You'll notice I'm dropping it in that window. And 2 next to it to create an animation. And then I'm just going to click on up. And player up 1 and player up 2. Fantastic. Okay. So I do that. Yes. They're a bit too large. So I need to click on the animated sprite node and the scale property. Okay. And I'll find it in the inspector under the node 2D heading. Well, I seem to remember finding this a bit mysterious. There it is. It's actually under transform there. So this is while I've got animated sprite 2D selected, and I'm looking in the transform section here, and I noticed that when I change it to 0.5 and lock it in, it actually changes both because those two are linked together. So we have just scaled those. Now we're going to add a collision shape. Now this is somewhere where I often get myself confused. So we're going to, for this character, so we're going to add a collision shape 2D as a child of player. Okay, so I right click on player, and I'm going to type in collision. There we go, collision shape 2D. There we go, so that's added. Now you notice up here it says shape is empty. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to have New Capsule 2D. That's the bit that I always forget to do. Now, when I zoom in here, right in there, and actually that is terribly small in there. I'm not entirely sure how we're getting closer, but I've got these little handles here that I can use to change the shape. See how they're really big? And so I'm going to go in and I'm going to make that the right size for the player. Now there's probably some quite clever way I can zoom in on this. Let's see if view does me any good. Actually, why don't I just try the good old Control Plus? That's often, there we go. There we go. So I'm zoomed in. There it is. Okay, well that's all looking pretty good actually. I'm quite happy with that size there. What I might just do, though, animated shape, collision shape. Yep, there it is. And I'm just going to squeeze that fella a little bit in the middle there so that he's a better fit. Alright, happy enough with that. There we go. When you're finished, your player scene should look like this. Player, animated sprite 2D, and collision shape. Yep, and mine does look like that. Okay, so that's in fact the end of that section. And now we're right to go on to the next section, having finished part 2.